Namaste. I'm going to invite you into a first seat Virasana. You take a blanket under your knees, especially if your knees are feeling sensitive, the bones. Make sure you have some padding under your knees, and a block or some kind of pillow, and have it widthwise on your mat. And then go ahead and sit over it so it's under your sit bones. Your thighs are long, gently internally rotated, and the tops of your ankles are extended. You get a nice stretch there. If it doesn't feel good on your knees or your ankles, sit up a bit higher. Maybe 2 blocks or 2 pillows. So you have lots of space for your belly, your growing belly, and you might get a nice stretch over your thighs. And this is actually the stomach meridian in Taoist yoga or yoga philosophy. The stomach meridian flows up over the thighs, so I know that indigestion is a part of being pregnant. So this is actually a really nice pose to stimulate that meridian, the stomach meridian, and again to give you a lot of space for your belly and to help you sit up a bit taller. If it doesn't work for your knees or whatever reason, then sit in a cross-legged seat. Let's take a few moments to let yourself transition from what you were doing to what you're doing now. So settle down into your sit bones, lengthen your spine, roll your shoulders back and down, rest your palms on your thighs, and close your eyes. And with every exhalation, feel like your hips drop a bit heavier. And then with every inhalation, feel like your spine grows a bit longer. Give yourself these next few moments to truly arrive, meaning checking in. How are you feeling as you come into this seat in your body? How does your mind feel? How about your heart? What emotions are coming up for you right now? Let's see if you can dedicate as much of your focus to your practice as you can right now. Try not to think about anything in the external world, just being here with your body and your breath, your energy, and your baby. You might even take your hands in your belly for the last few breaths. And then if your hands are on your belly, you might feel the breath flowing in and down to expand your belly a bit more. And then exhale, feel your belly gonna draw in, nothing forceful as the breath flows up and out. Let's take a few more belly breaths. Inhale in and down. And exhale up and out. Some days you may just have time for this beginning of practice and just know that this is very beneficial. And it can be enough some days just to sit and breathe with your eyes closed. On your next inhale, take your arms out and up. Stretch long through the sides of your waist, through the undersides of your arms. And exhale, gather your hands overhead, draw them through the center. We'll do that twice more. Take a breath in. Fill up through the belly, expand the ribs. Exhale, and draw your hands down. One more time. Deep breath in. Exhale and draw your hands down through the center. Come up off of your prop. Softly open your eyes, move the blocks out of the way, and just remember to pat up your knees whenever you need to. Our bones, our joints, things become a little more sensitive, like you said, with your smell. Everything becomes a little more heightened. So just take care of yourself. So you might tap out your feet a little bit here. And then Just make sure you have your hands on your mat as you come into downward facing dog. So you tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. Keep it bending your knees, and then as your belly grows, you'll walk your feet a bit wider so that you have space. Always in every pose you do, make sure you have space for your belly. The poses change as you change. So lifting through your sit bones, knees bend so you can lift the sit bones without worrying about tight hamstrings, and press your hands into the mat. Press the mat up and away so you stretch through your arms, root through the knuckles of your index finger and thumb. Let your head hang right between your arm bones. And take another breath. And then walk your hands back toward your feet. And you can always walk your feet out, meet your hands halfway. We'll inhale and halfway lift. It's called Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, fold. And again, keep that space in your legs and your feet. So there's room for your belly as you fold. Need a little traction, a little more length in your spine. You might nod your head yes, shake it no. Relax any tension or tightness through your shoulders. If you want, you can hold on to opposite elbows for a few breaths. Keep your legs firm on all sides, so pull up on your kneecaps, stretch through your calves, let your inner thighs tone as you gently squeeze the inner thighs toward each other, and also send your legs away from each other, tone your outer hips. But just firm up the muscles of your legs on all sides. Bring your hands down and carefully walk your hands back forward, so you're back in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana in Sanskrit. Let's bring the knees down to your blanket or straight to the floor. We'll find a few rounds of cat and cow here. So untuck the toes, knees under the hips, or again a little bit wider, and press the ground away. Make sure you're not hanging in your shoulders. Inhale, pull your heart forward so you'll feel a stretch through the front of your spine. And then as you exhale, press the ground away, round your upper back, flex your spine. Inhale. And exhale. So this is really nice. Continue with your breath. It's really nice movement for your pelvis and your spine, especially as your belly grows. Remember, it pulls on your back. So this is a nice way to relieve any tension through your spine. You can also take some circles through your shoulders and your hips. Just kind of move intuitively here. Well, I got a crack in my back. Sometimes that happens too. That's nice. Make sure you're breathing nice and full, nice and deep. Pay attention to your breath. Tuck your toes and then take your hips back to your heels. Try to stretch through the soles of your feet. So if you get any cramping in the soles of the feet, this really helps to stretch out that fascia there. You can even make sure your pinky toes are tucked under. And then if that's okay, so you can have your hands on your blocks, or maybe you sit all the way up, roll your shoulders back and interlace your fingers behind you. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Find a nice opening there through your chest, and again through the front of your spine, your belly. Know that your body will create the space that your baby needs. Don't ever worry about that, but I know that we get kind of tight, tense, and sore from the growing. So open up the chest anytime you have the chance. Open up the shoulders and the chest. Take that rounding out of your upper back. From here, take your knees wide and then send your hips back to your heels. So you stretch out into child's pose, Balasana. And as your belly grows, you might grab a bolster or like a pillow. I have one in here to kind of lie over. It's very, very calming, very introspective. It gives you a chance to just be. So think about maybe propping up some pillows underneath you here in child's pose. And again, another pose where you can stay as long as you like, and maybe you just do that one day. That's enough. From child's pose, we'll come forward. Keep your knees wide. Send your arms forward, and then this you might have to adjust where you place your hands. But this is rocking cobra. So again, there's that length through the front of the spine, open your chest. And then exhale, take your hips back to that child's pose. So you do a little flow here. Spread your fingers wide, so you're rooting into the knuckles of your index finger and thumb, and also your finger pads. Take the weight out of your wrist. And just rocking forward back. So think upward dog or cobra here. Exhale back. Lengthen your spine, child's pose. Okay, but that's the feeling. Upward dog or cobra, sliding your heart forward. Keep a little tone to your belly as you do that. Not overly toned, but a little tone. We want to work on flexibility and mobility, but also keep that stability. It's your that relaxin hormone, floods your body more and more to open your body up. So we want to make sure you keep that stability, keep your muscles strong and engaged. Come back to all fours. And then once again, downward facing dog. Lift your hips. Bend in the knees, walk your feet a little wider, and lengthen your spine. Let's move that blanket out of the way. And walk your feet halfway up and walk your hands halfway back. Let's have them meet halfway here. Take an inhale again, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Press into your feet, come on up. I want to bring your hands to your hips actually. Hands to your hips, press into your feet, use your legs and your core more, and then stand up. So there's that tone to your belly to protect your back. Okay. Take a breath here. Try not to go too fast from up and down. And then you can come forward. And if you do have a block, we'll do a little side bending. If you have a block or something for your upper inner thighs, just to remind those adductors, those inner thigh muscles to stay strong as you laterally flex your spine. Put something there, just about hip width. And then keep a little tone to your belly and a slight tuck of the tailbone so that you don't, when our belly grows, the sway back can happen. So you want to remember that could happen. So to help that not happen, keep a tone in your belly, slide your tailbone in towards your body rather than letting it kick out all the time. Okay. So hug the inner thighs together. Gonna reach your right arm up, and then exhale is going over to the left. So lateral flexion through your spine here. Again, helping your body to create some space and open the intercostal muscles, the muscles between the ribs, the muscles that help us breathe more deeply. And then as you're flexing to this side, you're gonna roll and rotate your chest to the sky. Okay, keep your legs strong. Mine are super warm right now. The muscles on all sides of my legs are fired up. And then come on up. Your legs. Take a moment, Tadasana. And then reach your left arm up and then exhale over to the right. So press down evenly into your feet. Try not to let your pelvis turn. You want to keep your left hip back. And then instead, roll the chest up toward the sky. As you flex to the right, your thoracic spine wants to twist to the left, so let it. Open up the muscles between the ribs. Take another breath. And then use an inhale, press into your feet, come up. Tadasana, take a moment. And then you can move the block out from between the legs. And again, stand tall, stand strong. Press into your feet. Lift up through the crown of your head, soften your shoulders. Now stand on your right foot and pick up your left leg. So you're flexing at the hip and the knee. Start to take your left leg out to the left. You want to keep a steady gaze. And then internally rotate the legs, just moving through your hip. And then squeeze your legs together. So step your left foot behind your right. Press into your feet. Another side bend here. So squeeze your legs together as if you have that block. Come on up as you inhale. Bring your hands down, so to the floor to blocks as you step your left foot back. Warrior one. So set your feet before you come up, and then warrior one. As your belly grows, you want to walk this right foot out to the right a little bit more. So again, there's space. And make sure you feel rooted and grounded before you come up. Sometimes it's too much to have the arms over the head. So keep your hands at your hips. Lift your chest. Press into the outer left foot. You might take your arms up into goddess or cactus arms, which is a nice way to open the chest. Tip your elbows forward, fingertips back. Another deep breath. Spread your toes. On the exhale, bring your hands down. Fingertips to the ground or maybe to your blocks. I think you have blocks. And you're going to lift your left leg up. So you're in a supported warrior 3. So really strengthening both legs and lengthening the spine. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. One more breath. And then step your left foot down. Again, a little bit wider. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Hands to your hips. Use your legs and your core more to stand up carefully, mindfully. And then walk your feet a little closer. Stand on your left leg. Pick up your right foot, flex at the hip and the knee. And then take the right knee out to the right. Externally rotating through the hip, and then internally rotate, draw your knee down, lift your foot up, and then squeeze your legs together as you step your right foot behind your left. A little bend in your knees. Reach up, grab onto your right wrist, and fold to the left. Inhale, come up, hands down to blocks or to the floor. Step back, warrior 1, spin your back heel down. Maybe you'll walk your left foot up to the left, make some space, and then come on up. There's some length through the front of your spine here. Remember to slide your tailbone in toward your body. Keep a little tone in your belly. Hands stay. They can reach up, or you can bend your elbows and open your chest. Or your shoulder blades are drawing toward each other. Open up the front of your heart, the front of your shoulders. Keep lengthening your spine. Next exhale, at the end of it, bring your hands down to your blocks to the floor. Press into your left foot more as you lift your right leg up. Supported warrior 3, so the spine is long. And make sure your hands are right under your shoulders so you have as much space as possible between your hips and your shoulders. Lots of space for your belly. And exhale, bring your right foot down and fold Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana, inhale. One more time, fold, exhale. Hands to your hips, use your legs and your core more. Stand up. Let's inhale, float the arms. Exhale and bring your hands down. Take a big step out to the left. Turn all 10 toes to face the left side of your mat. And then turn your heels and your toes out. Come into a wide squat. I want to do things that help to open up your hips, of course. And keep your legs, again, really strong because, again, your hips will become probably a little more mobile, but you want to keep the stability for your tendons and your ligaments. So imagine you're hugging your inner thighs toward each other and simultaneously sending your legs away so your legs are strong. Take a couple twists here. Inhale, and then exhale to bring your left shoulder to your right knee. You don't have to go so far, especially as your belly gets bigger. Inhale, center. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale. This is a good one to build stamina, I think, depending on how long, labor is. Well, you have 6 or so months to go carrying the baby, so you have to stay nice and strong. Press into your heels, spread your toes. Okay, back to center. One more time. Exhale to the left. And then bring your hands down. And again, you might use your blocks here. We'll find a forward fold. So you're going to start to pivot your heels out so they're behind the toes. You'll lengthen your spine on your inhale. A little bit of a back bend even. And then just like on all fours, or this pose, it gets the belly off your pelvic floor. So these poses are nice. That weight on your pelvic floor all the time. So take these half forward bends or all fours whenever you can, downward dog, and then exhale, fold. So depending on your flexibility here, you might be able to bring your forearms to a block, which feels pretty restful and nice. Spine long, couple of breaths. Really nice pose to do before you go to bed. It's a cooling inversion. Now let's lift halfway up. Turn your heels in or walk, heel toe your feet in a bit so you can come up a little more safely. Hands to your hips. Come on up. You don't want to come up in that wide stance, really. Okay, so let's walk the feet out wide again. Take a warrior two. You're going to turn your left toes in and your right toes out. Virabhadrasana 2. Keep your hips open. Externally rotate your legs. And then again, if it's too much to lift the arms, keep them at your hips. Bring them to your heart. Okay. Reach up through the crown of your head and try to bend that right knee right over the ankle and roll your knee open. Okay. Take another breath here. Virabhadrasana 2. If your arms are extended, they look like this. And then side bend here. You're going to straighten your right leg, reach your right arm up and over. And then rebend the knee, bring your forearm down to your thigh. Take your left arm up and over your left ear. So you're in a side angle pose. Again, tone your belly. Try to draw your tailbone in toward your body, not stick it back behind you. Again, strong through the legs. And then exhale. Let's lower that left arm down as you come up and then go back into it. Inhale. And then exhale. Come on up. Twice more. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Hands to your hips. Turn your right toes in a little bit more so you can turn your left toes out. Warrior 2 on your other side. So your back toes are turned slightly in. Left toes to 90 degrees. Bend the left knee. Externally rotate through your thighs and your hips. Extend your arms. Maybe, or hands to your heart. Take a few breaths. Always taking care of yourself, honoring your body where it is when you come to your practice. That's why we take those few moments to arrive in the beginning of practice to know where you're starting from and what will best support you in your practice that day. Straighten the left leg, reach your left arm up, take an inhale, and then exhale, side angle. Forearm to your thigh. Sweep your right arm up and over your right ear. Reach long through your right foot and out through your fingertips. And then a little movement here. Keep your belly strong, your inner thighs engaged, pelvic floor lifting. And come on up, take your right arm back. Inhale, come forward. Side angle, exhale. Press into your feet, come back up. So do that a couple times. Exhale, and then back to center. Heel toe your feet in, and then shake your legs out. Come to the top of your mat. Reach your arms up, inhale. Exhale, sweep your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers again and lift your chest. Walk your feet a little bit wider so you have space to fold. So outer hip width or even wider, bend your knees and then stick your hips back. Think about chair pose just for a moment there and then fold. Take your arms over your head. You might do a little sway here. And then bring your hands down and come into a squat, Malasana. You can grab a blanket, place your heels on the edge, turn your toes out and sit down into your hips. And then take a little movement here. See how your hips are doing. You can always sit on a block too when you're having that day instead. And if you're feeling like you're stretching too much, sit on the block, find that stability. Not everything needs to be stretched all the time. Okay, so stay active through your inner thighs. Press your knees into your elbows back into your knees. Lengthen up through your spine. Try to root through your heels and the balls of your feet so your feet are grounded evenly. Try not to roll in your knees or your inner feet. If anything, roll out a bit. You don't want to pronate your feet and roll them in. It's too much pressure on the ankles. We want to stay grounded evenly. Take another breath. And then bring your hands down. We'll step back into downward facing dog. Take a full round of your breath. And then lower down to your knees. Again, if you need the padding, take the padding under your knees. And then I always liked this pose or this movement when I was pregnant. So again, the baby's off your pelvic floor. It feels pretty good. Gives your pelvic floor a little break there. And then we'll swing side to side. So knees wide, wider than outer hips. You're going to take your left hand and place it where your right hand is, and then reach your right arm up to the sky. Cross under, and take your right hand where your left hand was, and then twist here. Okay, so a few rounds of this. And again, just take any, you can do the whole sequence as much as you like, or take one pose and just do that one day or when you have a minute. You know, just a little bit of movement goes a long way, or seated and focusing on your breath really helps to bring you back into the moment, calm you down a bit or whatever. Sometimes it feels good just to sit with your eyes closed. Okay, another round here. And then back. And take a moment just to sit on your heels or in Sukhasana. Just kind of tune into your energy and your breath. Another moment, hands on your belly. Tune into the connection with your baby. Notice any movement or any warmth. Notice maybe something new. Release your hands. And then sit on the edge of your blanket for Radha Konasana, soles of your feet together. Take your feet further away. And then if you're feeling like you've overstretched or just you don't need that much of a stretch or things are feeling tight, prop up your outer thighs with blocks or pillows. Take your hands behind you, tent your fingers. So you're just on your fingertips, or tent your palms, you're just on your fingertips, and your fingertips face away. You're gonna roll the front of your pelvis forward and lift your chest up. You might soften your eyes, take a couple of breaths here. Try not to let the shoulders creep up towards your ears. Slide them down your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other and lift your heart. Full breaths into the belly. Let the breath rise, expand your ribs, fill your chest. And then bring your head back to neutral. Sit up. Draw your left knee a little bit wider. Take your right leg forward. So a little forward fold here. Janu Shirsasana, head to knee pose. Just walking your way forward. You don't have to go down so far. When your belly gets big, just twist a little bit to the left so there's just more space. You're not right over your leg. But for now, probably just fold right over your leg. And then back up with an inhale and switch. Left leg forward, right knee out. Sole of the foot right on that inner thigh. And then whenever you're ready, exhale, you'll fold right over the leg, or again, right between the legs. You might soften your eyes here, breathe into the back of your lungs. And then come on back up with an inhale. And then you might shake out your legs a bit. And then to come down onto your back, take a supine twist, and then into Shavasana. So you might use that as a blanket, and then slowly come down. You probably can roll down right now because your belly's small, but eventually you just want to come down, carefully, very kind and gentle to yourself. And then lying down on your back for as long as you can there. Not too long when your belly gets bigger. And then rock a little bit. And then eventually just let the legs drop over to one side. Look over in the opposite direction of your knees. So knees are left, look right. You might take your hand to your belly. And then stretch your left arm back out, come to center, head back to center, and let the legs drop over to the right. Look to the left. Hand to the belly, to your belly. Soften your shoulders. Relax your face. Reach your right arm out back to center. Maybe a happy baby. Rocking side to side. Nice gentle breath. And then for Shavasana, you might roll over to one side. And if you have a couple of blankets, you might take one between your legs and take the other one under your head. You might even take your arm underneath, just depending on what you need. But a side Shavasana is great, feels great. Let yourself settle. Something between the legs helps to keep your pelvis more neutral. And also so your knees aren't pressing on each other. So a little blanket or pillow between the legs is nice. Keep your SI joint in a neutral place. And slow down your breath. And in Shavasana, you want to try to let everything go again. Let the external world go. Don't skip this pose. There's nothing that you need to do here. There's nothing you need to accomplish. Nothing to plan. Just be, just for a few minutes. And again, stay here as long as you can, at least a few minutes, say 5 minutes if you can. So you might pause this video, and then when you're ready, you can press play and slowly come out of Shavasana. Making your way gently up to a seat, to Sukhasana. You can sit on one or both of your blankets. You can also go back to Virasana if that felt good. Take a moment to sit tall, bring your hands in front of your heart, Anjali Mudra. Feeling a sense of gratitude that you took time out of your day to take care of yourself, your body, your mind, your heart, to connect with your baby. beautiful day every day that you tune into this video and every other day. Namaste.